and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
Sporty greetings to you wherever you're in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan.
All right, Austin, and this is what the show will be looking like this evening. We'll be talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Of course, they're preparing against Côte d'Ivoire tomorrow. And also, there's a team that we might just be seeing some new teams at the Africa Women's Cup of Nations, because at Togo, they're on the verge of qualifying. They beat Gabon 2-1 this evening. So that's what we need to look at. But then, you know, second leg is there. And, of course, the away goal rule still stands when it comes to CAF competition. Also, taking a look at the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA. Well, there's some teams that are playing in the UEFA Europa League. I mean, it's hard to say. Because of Barcelona and Napoli. So it ended in a draw. And also, surprisingly, Borussia Dortmund losing at home. There's so much more to talk about on Sport Tonight, Austin.
There's a lot to talk about, Cecilia. I'm particularly interested in that Africa Women's Cup of Nations qualifier with what Togo announced. You remember, I told you when we sat together in the studio in Lagos, I told you women's football is changing. So with this sort of things we're seeing, the Super Falcons, they know that it's serious business when they fight out against the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire. We cannot afford to tell stories. They stopped the Super Falcons from qualifying for the Olympics, and with the things we've seen now, they know that this is serious business, and that's why I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, Cecilia.
A serious business. Of course, we'll not be doing all the talking alone, because we have Bolu Omoni. He's right here in Lagos studio with me. Bolu, how you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. Good to be again. And Austin, good to see you after a very AFCON absent. And well, like you rightly said, Europa League, lots of surprising results. Dortmund losing heavy at home, and Real Betis winning away from home. Barcelona draw with that tie feels like a UEFA Champions League tie. When you see Barcelona, Napoli, even in the playoff, not even round of 16 or whatever. But again, it's the beauty of the game. The more we see new names, the more. And like we've said about the men, the Super Eagles, I want to see the AFCON, the Super Falcons at the I don't care. Ivory Coast, brilliant team, 20 goals scoring. We don't care. We care only about the Super Falcons.
And that's it. We really don't care what you're bringing in. I mean, beating Niger Republic 20-0 aggregate, and we losing to Ghana first leg and second leg we managed to win, and then 2-1. I mean, on aggregate. And you remember, we've never lost to Ghana before when it comes to women's football, but that is actually a dent what happened in October last year. But then we have opportunity to actually correct that tomorrow when we face Côte d'Ivoire, and all we have to do, you're playing at home, you're playing Abuja. According to the Falconets, most of the players, they said, haven't played there, scoring 3 goals against Cameroon. They are actually blessing that home ground for the Falcons and the Super Falcons. So whenever they're playing there, they expect to get a victory.
Cecilia, I just want to, talk to you. Are you super confident? Is this the same Cecilia that talks about the Super Falcons 5 years ago that is talking now?
Austin, it's hard to say because, I mean, after watching what happened between Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire in failure to qualify for the Olympics. Yes, it was heartbreaking because we needed a win in that game, and we just couldn't get it. Yes, we understand at that time the team was in disarray. You know, some of the players were not around. The coach was asked to go, another one was asked to come. I mean, the Danjuma having to put teams together in a hurry. But no matter what, we're talking about Super Falcons of Nigeria, 9 times African champions, most successful team. So even if you're going to bring players from the league, I mean, according to the pedigree that the Super Falcons have in Africa, you expect them to beat any team at all. And then what happened at the Aisha Buhari's Cup? We saw everything. We saw Morocco, what they did. We saw Mali. We saw Ghana. We saw Cameroon and most of the teams that came, showing that, yes, African football, when it comes to women, I mean, you don't have any small team anymore because everyone is growing. FIFA is putting so much money into women's football in Africa, and we've seen some of this country actually using that money to develop their own structure, having a structure that have actually helped to bring in young players, you know, across board. So that is my fear. That's the reason going into tomorrow's game, my confidence is not 90% or 100% as usual. It's like 75%. Yes, we may beat Côte d'Ivoire tomorrow, but scoreline, I really can't tell. Maybe a 2-1 victory or 2-0 victory, but I'm not super confident like I used to be 5 years ago, Austin. That's a fact, and that's just what I feel right now.
I had to wait to travel back to London before asking you this, because if I'd done that in Lagos, you would come all out of it. That's a win. But let me get Bolu talking before we go to the MPFL. Bolu, with what we've seen from Morocco, Kenya, even South Africa, it goes to tell us in Nigeria that we should look beyond Super Falcons now and focus on the Flamingos, focus on the other age great teams, so that we can have a progressive pattern, isn't it?
I think for every successful team, it starts from the scratch. Look at England Three Lions, for example. Their success in recent years started like some 10 years ago, moving from training young kids, moving them to under 17, under 20, 21, then the national team. So no matter how much you focus on the Falcons, we still need to think about the younger guys, because as much as we love our Falcons, they are brilliant players doing well for their clubs. Many of them are some of them are over 30, some are in their late 20s. So no matter how much we think about them, we need to think about those that will take over. Our defenders are getting old. Some of our midfielders are old. Next, not all are, this may be the last attempt. Next year's World Cup, when we qualify, could be the last time some of these ladies will represent Nigeria. So what happens next? So I like that the Falconets are doing well, but let it do well not just end there. Let us nurture and monitor them step by step. So when some or all of them are coming to the Falcons, it won't be strange. It won't be new. You know that we are used to each other. Then like we are beating them right now, we take them on again and bring on Ivory Coast.
But the good news about this is the fact that you've got about 3 players from the Falconets in this squad for the Super Falcons. So they're actually bringing them down. I mean, with what the Falconets have done, we want to watch them play, the way they play, the synergy and energy within that team. I think that's a team that you can easily push everybody up to play. I mean, apart from Asisato Shola, who is, I mean, firing on all the cylinders, she happens to be the highest goal scorer right now. You know, not just for Barcelona, but in Spain when it comes to women's football. So, which is really great. I mean, look at the midfield and the defense. We've seen what the Falconets have been able to do, you know, over time. They can score goals. That's what we get to understand about this crop of players we have right now. But then for the Super Falcons, we haven't been seeing those goals, you know, coming in. Yes, the players are scoring at club level, but how Coach Randy Wardrobe will be able to get all of them scoring, that's what we really want to see against Côte d'Ivoire tomorrow. Hopefully, we should be able to nick that. I mean, beat Côte d'Ivoire in the first leg, and, you know, maybe second leg, whatever happens. But then we need to win in Abuja tomorrow, and that's a fact, really. You can't afford to play goalless or a 1-0 victory, or even 2-0. It's still a scoreline you wouldn't want to envisage. But then these are the fixtures for Friday. Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire will be in action. That game is going to be 3 p.m. in Abuja. Zimbabwe and Botswana is also in action. South Africa and Algeria will also be in action. As I mentioned earlier, some games went down. Okay, continue of the games. Tunisia and Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon and Gambia are the games to look forward to. Togo, for instance, just this evening, beating Gabon 2-1. I mean, you've been seeing some countries that will be coming to Africa Cup of Nations because it's been expanded to more teams are coming in. But the way the qualifiers are done, I mean, where you have West African teams playing against each other, it simply means that, Bolo, I mean, we will not be seeing a team like Ghana, for instance, will not be there. Either Côte d'Ivoire or Nigeria, one of it will not be there. So we've seen what CAF have tried to do. But most people were not really happy about it. But this is what we have, and this is what we have to deal with. Because at the end of the day, the 4 best teams at the Africa Cup of Nations are the ones that will go to the World Cup. So we may not just be having the very best in Africa going to the World Cup in 2023.
Well, I like your last phrase. We will likely not have the best because I tell you, if all the top 10 best teams in Africa will come from one region, take all of them. You need there's a reason for seeding. There's a reason for ranking. Look at tennis, for example. World number 1 and 2 can never meet except the final. There has to be a way to put them as separate sides. I don't agree at all with this. Ghana are one of the best teams in terms of women's football. Ivory Coast are one of those riders steadily. Then imagine 2 of them will not be at the women because Super Falcons will qualify. So imagine both teams not being there. Then, okay, for regional sake, because it is who you have that will play. Then let's assume maybe Egypt are not among the best at all, but because they qualified in the zone, they will be at the event. For you to win the Women's World Cup, for you to go far, we need all the best in Africa. Look at what Cameroon also did last time. Many didn't expect what they come out with. Then they are not there because of their region. So I don't know the idea behind this. I guess you want to but you need your best legs. If everyone is coming from the north, let them go. If everyone is from the south, east, or west, wherever, you won't see Europe do okay because we want some from one. No. There are seedings, the top seedings go this way, the top pots go this way, then let only our best legs move forward. That's why only Europe and South America are the ones that have won the male World Cup. Imagine they do segments. It means we will likely not see maybe some of the top teams. And who knows Germany, what they can come up with. So, exactly. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Ghana. I'm sorry, Ivory Coast. You have to just face the Falcons. So maybe by the next edition, FIFA, CAF would decide to go a different route. So maybe you could be there with the Falcons. But this year, I'm sorry, you're not going to the World Cup.
Yeah. All right. So, Austin, you mentioned MPFL, so let's go right there and leave the Super Falcons. Hopefully, you asked me a question. I mean, I didn't ask you. So how confident are you that they will beat Côte d'Ivoire tomorrow?
You do this to your co-presenter on live TV, Cecilia.
You asked me first,
I love the Super Falcons, you know I do. But when I saw those warning signs, I had to call for help. I told you they need to start scoring. I told you they need to gain back their respect in Africa. We've also charged the NFF that if Morocco, Kenya, South Africa are doing all they can to improve women's football from the grassroots to the top, then we should do the same. When we start doing this, the Super Falcons, Cecilia, we'll be superior once again. But for tomorrow, football will give you your answer.
I know.
How about that?
Don't worry, you're going to come to Lagos next time. No problem. So let that hang in there. All right, talking about the MPFL right now, some games that went down today. And, of course, Rivers United had the opportunity to go top of the table, but the game they played against Abia Warriors ended 1-0. Abia Warriors scored first. Paul Sampson in the 45th minute, he scored that goal. But then Uche was the one who equalized 49th minute, and then it ended 1-1. For the game between Dakada and Gombe, Yusuf Abdulaziz, 90th minute goal was all Gombe needed to win. Gombe is having a nice run right now. You also have the game between Nasrua and Rangers. It ended 1-0, of course, in favor of the home team. Christian Naji's 61st minute goal was enough for that. And Heartland, Austin, something is turning around for Heartland. 1-0 against Lobby Stars. Nnamdi Ubujo, 71st minute goal. Who could have thought that Heartland, that were more like a whipping team right now, maybe money has exchanged hands, and of course the players are a bit happy now, no longer hungry. I mean, they're stringing wins together. Bolu?
Well, the interesting thing is two teams that needed to win actually got victories. MFM and Heartland. They're going through very tough times, and they won. I love the fact that we also saw 2 away wins. Gombe United won away, and then Aqua United, to an extent, for defending champions. You need to give them some commendation for that one. Raymond Stars, the team we've been talking about forever since the league started, now back-to-back defeats. Bolu, it tells you that in the MPFL, you know nothing till the final whistle.
I say it all the time. If there's one league that is so competitive, if the name is not the Nigeria Professional Football League, you don't know what they are talking about. That's the most competitive league in the world. No team can go unbeaten for a season. We've seen it in Germany, we've seen it in England, we've seen it in Scotland, even. I think England, Arsenal's unbeaten team, but in the MPFL, you cannot. Yes, they had a good run. The highest unbeaten we have was last season, Aqua United, about 18 or 19, but ended up losing. Now it's where we now see the strength of Remo Stars. Now is when we need to see how they are strong mentally, because remember, Yimba lost back-to-back, and they shook a bit before they were able to stabilize. And now they are still even up and down, not direct. So Remo Stars need to bounce back. Unfortunately, they are still going away for their next game. Let's see what happens if they play their next home match. But they need to start winning. For Heartland, it feels like they're chasing the MFM, both of them. Oh, MFM won yesterday, we needed to win. But looking at Heartland and Lobby, in about 7-8 years, there's been just one away goal when both of them face each other. And the away goal was a goal by Lobby Stars. They won. Every other game has been home wins, 2-0, 3-1, 2-3. So I think the win was expected, but they needed that win. Unfortunately, they are just flipping sides with MFM. Both of them, if they need to avoid relegation, at least win your home games. MFM have won just 3 matches in 12 games this season. It shows how poor they've been. So to escape, at least win at home. and try and pick as much as you can away from home. But again, Remo Stars losing, dropping from first. I think now they're fourth on the log. It shows how competitive the NPFL can be. Lose guard, and you are losing your position.
I totally agree with you. It's competitive. Plateau United, Cecilia, their new coach, Fidelis Ilechukwu, used to be at Heartland. He left Owerri. They are struggling Owerri. Now he's in Jos, and Plateau United are doing so well. They beat Shooting Stars 3-1. Let's listen to our talking points that came right after that one. I'll come back, we'll talk some more.
Great boys, great management, great tactics. But I think what we just done here, we try to come together, look at the challenges of the team, especially now picking away points, talk to ourselves, work on the team, and you can see that there's more improvement. We are not yet there, but I hope we are going to be there. I also want to thank His Excellency, the Governor, the management, Pius, technical director, for their support for the team, because without them, I don't think we will be where we are today. Great team, when the team promotes, you must expect aggressive from the team, because they understand who we are and where they are coming from. So I think what really happened in that first half is that they took over the midfield in first half. So we tried to do the sub to see what will happen, and after the sub, everything was settled.
It was not a bad first half. We were very much in the game, and we controlled the game. But in the second half, when you play against a team like Plateau United, you always have to be very focused. You always have to concentrate for the entire 90 minutes. Due to momentary loss of concentration from our defense, a goal was scored. And within a few minutes later, the penalty was conceded. And I think that was the turning point for the game. There is continuity in the team. And for the fact that we came from the NNL and we are bedding in the MPFL, we are getting used to playing in the MPFL. We are adapting to the rigors of playing in the MPFL. And I think the more we go, the more the team will become better.
Coach Madrid Sagoye, your team needs to start moving quickly so they don't go back to the NNL where they're coming from. But what a story for Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu. We call him the walking one. But we miss him in Lagos because it was reporters' delight, when answering questions. I think he's making a huge statement with Plateau United.
Remember after the MFM issue, leaving to Heartland and the problems he had, people felt, well, he left for this. He wasn't that superb at MFM. Now look at MFM now. Look at Heartland. Then look at what this Plateau United team are doing. Like he rightly said, the first half was not so brilliant, but coming into the second half, they had one game plan. Get to the defense, get your goals, and they scored 2 quick goals. Now, there's no way you can talk about it. He's doing so well for the club. Being at the top of the table as at this moment is huge for them. And it took me out of place. I would love to see if Fidelis Ilechukwu Plateau United should win this. He's been pushing hard. Remember his second or third season with MFM, he was very close to winning the league when he made the continent. Now he has a chance to even win this time. Nobody saw them coming. People were so focused on Aqua United, defending champions, Rivers United, Remo Stars, and Eyimba. Plateau United grew steadily into the season. Now they are top of the table. Fortunately for them, Rivers United couldn't win. Now they sit comfortably at the top. They need to continue with this momentum. Everyone is now looking at them. Oh, these guys are top of the table. It's impressive what he has done, no matter how much you look at it, because when the team does poorly, we all hit at the manager. So now that they're doing so well, sitting comfortable at the top, I think we need to give kudos to Fidelis Ilechukwu. I always like to listen to him sometimes. He has his comical way of answering questions, but again, not many managers in MPFL will mention tactics. Some of them, they are thanking God, thanking players, but he talked about their attack, how they needed to change in the second half. So good win for them and good one for Fidelis Ilechukwu.
MFM obviously missing this man right now because of what he's doing with Plateau United. Austin, I remember when he was actually appointed as a coach, we felt the club was bigger than him. But right now, he's acting as if he belongs there. And what he has shown so far, I mean, how many points they've been able to gather? 26 points from 13 games, goal difference of 12. So that is massive. Just look at the table right now. When the league started, we haven't seen Plateau United as in the top 10. But right now, they're top of the table, followed by Rivers United and Rangers, of course, who also wobble and fumble beginning of the season. They're third. And Remo Stars that were singing all the praises, the glory and everything because of goal difference. This is where they are. They are now fourth on the log, 23 points from 13 matches. But Heartland is a good one. They've been able to move from that very bottom they've been to at least 19 Just hearing from MFM, MFM were not really looking good at the bottom of the table, but at least they were able to win at home against Katsina United, so it's something to look forward to. Another game must now quickly get us talking is Wiki Tourist and Kano Pillars.
Yep.
I mean, Wiki Tourist, a good team, you would say, yes.
Yeah, that was another good game, Cecilia, but let's just put a pause on that one. Kano Pillars are still struggling. We'll come back to talk about it. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We'll go on this quick break. When we come back, Kano Pillars, how can they get their season back on track? I don't know. Maybe Bolu does. We'll talk about it. We'll come back. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Tonight on Channels Television, we're taking a look at the Nigeria Professional Football League. Bolu described it as the most competitive league in the world. And I think I totally agree with him, because if you take a look at the MPFL table after match day 13, you will know that these teams are not smiling. Let's talk about Wiki Tourist. They're now 9th on the log after that win against Kano Pillars. Bolu, listen to this. Kano Pillars, after 13 games, they've won just 4. They've lost 7. And they've drawn 2. This is not Simon Sugida that we know. What's going on with Kano Pillars, Bolu?
Well, almost everything is wrong with them. And interestingly, people are focused only on MFM and Heartland. Kano is equally bad, because now they are just 4 points ahead MFM, rock bottom of the table. They've lost their last 3 games, even losing at home to Plateau United. Their last 2 home matches, they picked up just 1 point. The normal Kano Pillars we know, they may lose every game away from home, but when you go to Kano, just forget the match. You know you are losing. But now, even at home or away, they are not winning games. They've won 4, MFM have won 3. What's the difference? Birds of feather. So I think their win against Eyimba made people think, oh, okay, well, they are rising back. They started poorly from the get-go. Now they are still poor. They are just 4 points above rock bottom of the table MFM. So I worry for them. It feels like we may have some of our traditional teams go to the NNL for next season. Well, it means one thing, to make it more competitive. But I think Kano Pillars, they have what it takes to bounce back. They have the team to bounce back. Maybe another Super Eagles player needs to come and motivate them for them to get back to winning ways. But things are not working well for Kano Pillars. Losing 3 straight games, going 4 games without a win is not what you attribute with Kano Pillars. But again, you still have to give kudos to the oppositions. The teams are defeating them. Like I said, their last home game, they lost to Plateau United, who are top of the table. The home match before then, they drew with Remo Stars. Remo Stars are also close to the top of the table. So it's interesting that Kano Pillars are the ones we are talking about fighting for relegation. But some will tell you the league is still fresh. But if you follow the MPFL very well, when you are getting to match day 15, 20, if you are fighting for title, you will fight. If you are fighting for relegation, you will likely fight to the end of the season.
True. Cecilia, you've been busy. Let's leave the MPFL for now. We'll continue to monitor it. But you've been busy covering the Creative Champions League. What's that about?
I mean, the Creative Championship League happens to be one of those leagues that's actually trying to make sure that the nationwide league, teams that compete in the nationwide league, have opportunities to play as many games as they can. And that's the reason the organizer had to come up with this. You have about 10 teams taking part, and these teams are supposed to be the 3rd tier of the Nigerian league. But at the end of the day, when NNL has started, nationwide league, you don't even know when they are starting. So that's the reason for a championship like this, to help them have more games. This is season 2. Yeah, this is season 2. And of course, they're trying to show to other top flights in Nigeria how to really run a football club. Because each of the clubs, I mean, they've got a website, they've got statistics. I mean, if you're looking for a particular player, for instance, how many touches he made in a particular game, you can go to their website and you get it. That's something they are trying to bring into Nigerian football. Let's just take a listen to the organizers to get more on the Creative Championship. Maybe after this explanation, Austin and Bolu will understand more what this crop of guys are trying to do to grow football in the country.
The vision was born from the idea that we needed competitive games to develop our players. And because I'm a coach and my stock of trade is to develop, right? We know we need competitive games. Without competitive games, you cannot measure the potential of the player. You cannot measure on a consistent basis if the players are improving. And so the idea was to create more competitive games for our players, which we have eventually done. We have a company called Cora Stats in Egypt, that works with us, we pay, of course, to give the statistics, not just who won the match, who scored a goal, but every player's details in terms of the passes they make, which direction are these passes, their heat maps, how many times did they win the ball, lose the ball, the shots on target, off target, every detail. And these parameters help us to compare players, help us to compare their development, have a reference point as which we can work on. And this is only available in the TCC. There is no other league in Nigeria that has that much data.
The development of football is the responsibility of every stakeholder in football. And it's the culmination of ideas. You know, not just one idea will cut it. We've got to have different ideas from different set of people, and it's when we bring all of that together that we'll have a vibrant football economy in this country. It's a league that is totally different in its organization. In everything that we do is about developing football players in the right way, and also having a sustainable business model that clubs can actually participate in football and make a profit. If you look at other spheres of football in Nigeria, I'm not sure, and I stand to be corrected, how many football clubs are making profit. And the only thing that will sustain our football, the only thing that will make sure we have football tomorrow, we have football in the next 10 years, is when clubs that are participating in football begin to make a profit, so that they have something to reinvest in and then to also go on with.
Clearly explained there. You have 10 teams taking part in it from Lagos and, of course, Ogun State, and they're trying as much as possible to see how they can spread it across Nigeria. But, you know, because of rules, NFF and everything, so they have to take a whole lot of excuse from them to be able to do that. But then, Austin, something is really clear, how to run a professional football. The league started, this is the second season. They started, this season started in January, and they're already in week 8. I mean, it's something. You have the likes of Dino FC, Bagada FC, Emandinho, and also Remo Stars under 19 that happens to be Beyond Limit FC. That's the name in the league. So this is what they're trying to do to ensure that, yes, you're not just, I mean, playing football, but clubs are also making profit, you know, playing football.
Cecilia, I must say this today on the show. I'm super proud of the teams, some of the teams in the NNL and the guys in the Nationwide League. They are showing us what it means to be deliberate about changing the narrative of football in Nigeria. And we have no choice. The Nigeria Football Federation and corporate bodies should support these guys. I love what I see in it was Bagada FC that somehow started this revolution in the Nationwide League. And if you listen to what the guy from Beyond Limit FC said, you could tell that they are thinking about making the business of the football environment in Nigeria business. They are using the business model. They want to run things professionally. Look at their jerseys. Look at the way they are. They're even bigger than some clubs on social media. This is the way to go. Now, the NFF should find a way to listen to these guys. Tell us a proper date when the Nationwide League will start and get these guys busy properly. But I'm so proud of them. This is what it means to take your destiny into your hands. Because if you say you own a football club and the people who are supposed to be doing what they're doing, they're not doing it, try in your own way to make a difference. And that's what they're doing. I'm so proud of all the teams involved in this Creative Champions League. They deserve our salute tonight, Cecilia.
Yeah, obviously, Bolu, I think you have one or two things to say about this, because, I mean, we were talking when that track was being played on how these guys have been able to come in to want to make a difference. Of course, as Austin mentioned, changing the narrative.
Well, first off, just look at their jerseys. Look at the jerseys on display. Look at our MPFL club jerseys. I think this means or will mean one thing. Private investors will probably be interested in getting here. I've heard of one or two private club owners who don't play in our leagues and prefer to train and send their players abroad with things like this. Because if I own a club, the first thing in my mind is, how do I make money back to the club? Now that there are some guys that are telling me we'll play regularly and we'll make money, I would want to invest in it, because nobody wants to run at the loss. So I think this is a brilliant initiative. And the fact that you can get statistics and all those things, it's not what you see on a norm in Nigeria. Those that have it in Nigeria, probably their clubs, I think like Remo Stars, that decide to do it on their own. And like Austin rightly said, some private investors are the ones teaching our people how to use. I hope they won't see it as a competition. I hope they can take it as an innovation to make our football go for. In the end, everybody wants Nigeria football to move forward. Either the top tier, lower tier, underage, everything. We want our league to move forward. Believe me, in the next few years, if this continues like this, Remo Stars may not have to be going outside to buy players because they have their under-19 playing in a different league. So, brilliant initiative by the organizers and everyone involved. Hopefully, this goes to the next level and now we can start to enjoy what football is meant to be in Nigeria.
That's what we're all waiting for. Hopefully, we can really enjoy that and celebrate football in the country across the board. So let's leave that and quickly go to the beach. Yes, the beach soccer will get us talking because the Nigerian Beach Soccer Association has scheduled that February 23rd, that's the kick-off date for the league. The 2022 Nigerian Beach Soccer League, Austin, the season is starting. When I saw this report and heard about it, I'm like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for, having a beach soccer league. So it was confirmed by the General Assembly agreeing that, yes, they want to have a league. I mean, this is with the approval of the Nigeria Football Federation. So it's something we have to celebrate because, I mean, we've been talking about having a beach soccer league. We haven't seen it. But the first round of league will be staged in Ilorin, that's in Kwara State, from February 23rd, and that will end on February 26th. It's just 3 fixtures. And then you have the second round that will be in Lagos from March 16th to 19th. And then you have clubs that have really registered, like Kebbi, Kwara State, Kada, Lagos. You have 3 clubs from Lagos, Badagry, Igbowo Kingdom, and Smart City, and some of the teams that have actually registered for this, Austin. It's interesting.
I love it. I love that club, Igbowo Kingdom Beach Soccer Club. You know, we've said it that there's so much we can do with beach soccer in Nigeria. If you can't play football on the grass, the beach is there. The other day, you were talking about, was it drone soccer?
Yes.
We've got futsal. There are a lot of ways. So we must join the world in moving with development. This is the second edition of the Beach Soccer League. And we've said that with this, we can actually use it to create a proper structure for the development of the sport in the country. Because some certain people are not seeing profits in it. We don't know what is embedded in beach soccer for us. If you call Senegal, and maybe 2 other countries in Africa, you must call Nigeria with beach soccer because we've got the people, we've got the talent, but we're not just building structure. So shout out to the organizers of the Beach Soccer League. The NFF has endorsed this, that it will kick off from February the 23rd, and it will run all the way till we get the final from June the 4th in Kaduna. Kebbi Beach Soccer League, they are defending champions. They won the maiden edition. As I see here, it's clear for all to see. Kebbi, they've done so much for the development of beach soccer. We can say the same with Lagos too. You know, the Eco Beach Soccer League, they do the, I think the Easter Fiesta, they try their own way to also develop beach soccer. What is the South doing? All of those states where we have the proper beaches, what are they doing? Let this rub off. I'm glad that now they're moving from 8 teams to 10. And Bolu, the more the merrier. When states start coming into this, and then they find a way to get more people involved, it's going to be a good way of taking youth off the streets and giving people an opportunity to express their talents.
In this part of the world, in Nigeria, many of our local pitches, many of the football we play on the streets are played on the sand. Yet it's a different ball game from the beach soccer. But when I get used to playing on the sand, it will be easier for me to move to play in the beach soccer league. Truth is, for a long time, Nigeria's beach soccer team, our guys are playing the local league, just select some guys. Now that there is a proper league that is it's continuous, not the regular one that we play one after 10 years. Oh, another league set it up. Kebbi, like you already said, defending champions. When you saw them at the last Copa Lagos, you know these guys are a proper team. Ghana have a league. Some African countries have. We should, when they're talking about top 2, top 3, you should be mentioning Nigeria. It's unfortunate that we've had this issue for long. There's Futsal World Cup. There's Champions League for 5-a-side. These are things we need to follow the world with because talent is not a problem in Nigeria. If it's about talent, just forget it. We have them enough. I think the last Copa Lagos that they did, Giddy Sharks, those were boys they picked on the streets, and they did so well. So talents are everywhere. It is just what to do, how to perform, where to perform is the challenge. And like Austin rightly said, now you can pick boys off the street. Oh, you want to play on the sand? Let's go. We will train you to be a professional. Who knows? The guys on the street may be the next superstar for Lagos. They may be the next superstars for Nigeria. We won't have to be looking for MPFL players. Oh, I think you are a bit strong. Let's go to because there's a proper league. We can have scouts who will look out for the best among them and represent Nigeria at the Beach World Cup. Who knows, the next world stars may come from Nigeria, and it means continuity. It doesn't just start in a day. You have to plan and take it a step at a time. So kudos to the organizers. Kudos for the continuity. Hope we won't have to end here. Next year, 2 years, 3, 4 years, then the next 10 years, we'll still be talking about Beach Soccer League and much more than 10 teams that we have right now.
And hope they get to play more games. That's more important. More games, not just 2, 3 games, and then they relax and everything. Interesting that Kaduna Beach Soccer Stadium hosted the last one. I'm talking about Kaduna. As you mentioned, the South, what are they doing? Wait and see. All right, Austin, we'll leave Beach Soccer now and quickly touch down on UEFA Europa League. Yes, the games are played. Some games were concluded so early. For instance, the game between Barcelona and Napoli, that ended 1-0. Petre Zielinski scoring first 29 minutes. Ferran Torres equalized from the penalty spot after a player from Napoli was adjudged to have a handball. Borussia Dortmund and Rangers 4-2. You're looking at that result, you're wondering, is it the other way around? No, it is not. Erling Haaland, of course, when he's not playing, somehow Dortmund gets a struggle. FC Sheriff, remember they were in the Champions League and they dropped to Europa League and they continue what they've done to the big teams like Real Madrid.
You need to mention that they beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in the group stage. That's how people remember FC Sheriff when they stunned Real Madrid. We need to mention that, Cecilia.
And of course, St. Petersburg and Real Betis ended 3-2 in favor of Real Betis. So you're having teams winning away from home. Napoli, the away goal results doesn't count anymore, but it doesn't really matter. But Osimhen was on fire in this game. Though he didn't get the goal he so much deserved, but then he played 80 minutes and he was instrumental in that game. Other results, games that are currently going on. Atalanta and Olympiacos 1-0. FC Porto and Lazio is still 1-1. Leipzig and Real Sociedad, Sevilla and Dinamo Zagreb. Sevilla leading by a lone goal. But look quickly, your thoughts on that incredible victory that Rangers earned over Borussia Dortmund. Yes, incredible because, you know, we have a Nigerian there, Joe Aribo.
Interestingly, he got an assist in the game as well. Good performance from Rangers. Normally, like Riley said, if anyone is looking at this result, you probably flip it. I think the producer made a mistake. Let's switch it. But no, there was no mistake. Rangers went to Germany to defeat Dortmund 4-2. Like Cecilia said, most of the time when Haaland is not playing, it feels like the goals are not coming. Yes, they were pushing hard when it was 3-1. They got the goal back. Unfortunately, immediately considered a no-goal. You know, a fight back is definitely going to be difficult here. And the biggest game where normally when you talk about this fixture, you mention the Champions League. That's Napoli away at the Camp Nou to Barcelona. Thanks to a penalty from Ferran Torres, Napoli could have won that game. And if there's one man that cost Barcelona, his name is still the same Ferran Torres. He missed lots of chance. But unfortunately, still no away goal. So a draw is more like we're starting afresh in the second leg. But teams like Real Betis who won away from home, teams like Rangers who won away, they are in the driving seats. And for Sheriff picking up 2-0 victories, going away, I don't think they're scared. Like Austin said, if they can win at the Bernabeu, brought in a new Sheriff to Spain, I don't think playing away from home against anyone is difficult. And it's good to also mention that there's a different format now in the Europa League. Normally, you know, they play round of 32, but the teams that finished third in the Champions League are playing the teams that finished second in the Europa League. So the winners will now make the first for the round of 16. So everyone is fighting to qualify for the round of 16. Brilliant games, and Rakitic is the one who scored the goal for Sevilla from the penalty spot. Now it's a real business. Even though I have a problem with the cancellation of the away goals rule, but again, it is what it is. Everyone knows, but probably it's not sinking in yet until maybe you win at home 1-0, then you lose 2-1, expecting to qualify. They tell you no, the game still continues. But that's the beauty of the European football. Lots and lots of goals. 6 goals in the Germany, Dortmund and Rangers. That game, the result still feels like a surprise. Rangers normally should be thinking, Celtic beat them a few weeks ago 3-0. But they are going away to beat Dortmund. It shows the beauty of football. As much as you think you know sometimes, the results will definitely surprise you.
Interesting. Yeah, Austin?
I was just going to, you know, confirm that's my line, that the moment you think you know football, football will stun you, you know. Rangers struggling just days ago in the Europa League, a different beast came to the field to stun Borussia Dortmund, and Joe Aribo had a fantastic game, and that's a good one for Team Nigeria. Yeah,
interesting. Quickly, we'll touch down on the UEFA Champions League games that were decided yesterday. Of course, Liverpool 2-0 win over Inter Milan. And then the other game, PSG,
Salzburg.
Salzburg Why PSG? Salzburg and Bayern, which was the shocker of the game. Yes, that's the game that really get us talking about. Salzburg, I mean, the front three that you saw, I mean, you have Nigerians there. Okay, when one was substituted, another one was brought in. That was the game in that one. But for Bayern Munich, you expect them to have a fantastic victory. But somehow, it just wasn't to be because Salzburg scored first, and then it took them the dying minute before they were able to equalize. I'm talking about Bayern. At the end of the day, it all went good for Salzburg.
I think Bayern Munich were even lucky in that game. Salzburg could have scored 3-4 goals. They dominated Bayern Munich also. I was even surprised at the formation Bayern Munich came up with initially. It seemed like 3-5-2, playing about 4 wingers and attacking players together. I don't know what I think the superstars were even the coaches. They were models. The coach for Salzburg felt like matrix and all. But the Nigerians, there's Adamu there. Chikwe Bukia Adamu scored the goal. There's Okafor who came up injured. There's Adeyemi there. And there's, I think, on the 17th captain, Samson Tijani, he didn't get to play. But fortunately, those guys are not playing for Nigeria. But again, football is football. Brilliant performance from Salzburg. They will be gutted they couldn't win that game against Bayern Munich. But going to Germany is definitely going to be a different ball game. But you still have to give kudos to and Liverpool. Even when Liverpool don't play well, they find the goals yesterday were their only shots on target. But the most important thing is win. Nobody cares about possession if you end up not winning. People don't remember how City played in last Champions League because they did not win. Everyone is talking about Chelsea. So good one for Liverpool. They defeated AC Milan in the Champions League group stages. Now they are beating Inter Milan again in the round of 16. Football is still open. They will tell even Jurgen Klopp said it's still open. But we know it's just being modest. It will take something extraordinary to defeat Liverpool at Anfield. And not when they have 2 goals advantage. But with no away goal, 3-2, 3-1, forces extra time. 2-0, forces extra time. Let's just see what happened in the second leg. But you would not want to bet your money against this Liverpool side, especially when there's still Salah, Mane, and Diogo Jota up front. And don't forget on the bench, there's Luis that has joined them, and there's Firmino.
All right, talking about Jurgen Klopp, let's take a listen to him right now.
Last line, pass the ball back, and from there they play the diagonal balls to Dumfries or Perisic, so that's difficult to defend. We are a pressing team, but that's how you outplay press. And we tried everything. In the beginning, we did really well. With our high press, I think it was tricky for them to find a way out there, but we didn't get anything from it. So we invested a lot with this high, intense pressing, but we didn't get anything for it. So no chance, no goal. And then it's difficult to keep that up. We changed again. 3 times early, and the boys who came on had a proper impact. All 3 was really, really good. Bobby scored, and from there we controlled the game and scored a really nice second one, again after a set piece. So half time, not more, but not less as well.
Not more, not less. Before we'll leave UEFA Champions League and I'll quickly step down the 3rd tier of the European football. I don't even know how to call it, but it's called the Conference League, yes, where Leicester City are actually playing right now. They're playing against Randers, and Leicester City are a goal up, courtesy of Ndidi Wilfred in the squad, Ademola Lookman assisting. Now, also, you know why I needed to mention that, right? Could be the UEFA Europa Conference League, but then we have some Nigerians and Leicester City, one scoring, the other assisting. So Wilfred in the scoring 23rd minute, assisted by Ademola Lookman, who just, FIFA just cleared him to play for the Super Eagles. Good news.
Yeah, very good one for Wilfred Ndidi and Ademola Lookman, you know, with Nigerians, you know, calling for Lookman to be part of the Super Eagles. They're beginning to build some form of partnership now at Leicester City. I like the joke you cracked to the 3rd tier of the Europa League. Well, who cares at this point? A win is a win for them. Let's see how they can keep it going.
We'll see how they can keep it going. But, I mean, we don't really have to... Okay, yeah, because News at 10 is coming up, so we have to leave this studio because there's so many commercials coming up after now. But, Bolu, I want to thank you so much for being part of the program once again.
It's always a pleasure being around.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. Have a good night.
Always a delight doing this with you. Let's do it again tomorrow. Until then, I'm Austin Okonakpan, and everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.